Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me who you are and about your family life here in Greensboro.
I'm Adelaide McIntosh. I've lived in Greensboro all my life. I mean, both my parents grew up here, and so Greensboro just has a long history in my family. I mean, we've all been here for a while. I mean, my parents graduated from the school that I go to now.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have two brothers, Fletcher and Finn, who are about to turn 11 and 9, and then I'm 13, so I'm the oldest and the only girl, which is hard because they're crazy, but you know, it's okay.
And tell me a little bit about your name. You have a very special name.
I was named after my great-grandmother who had a big part in the church. She always sat right where I'm sitting. There's a plaque right there. But
tell me what her name was.
Her name was Adelaide Fortune, and that's my first and middle name. And so, yeah. Or Adelaide Fortune Holderness. That was her full name.
Yeah, yeah. And what did you call her when you were little?
I called her Tutu. It was just a name passed on. Yeah. We just all called her Tutu, like everyone in the family called her Tutu.
Tutu, yes. Like T-U-T-U.
Yes.
Tutu.
I think it meant like grandmother in Hawaiian or something.
Oh, neat.
I know, well, my grandma told me how they got it. Or it was like her sisters or something went on a trip. It was like a trip with her or just a trip in general. I think it was to like Hawaii or something, and they told her, or they like told them that the name, like what Tutu meant, so they just all started calling her Tutu, and it just
stuck.
Yeah.
And so for you, your great-grandmother was a member here, and so it was just natural that your family become a part of First Pres?
Yes. I mean, well, my grandmother and my grandfather were members after her because my grandmother grew up going here, and then my parents became members, and then so I've just kind of been dragged along.
Have you heard like 1,000 stories, like your mom's wedding here and all your baptisms here?
I mean, I've heard about my baptisms, I've heard about the weddings, like I've heard a lot of stories. Yeah.
You've heard a lot of stories. So when you think about coming into this sacred space, this sanctuary, how does that feel for you to be here in a space that carries a lot of family memories?
It feels really special, and also to be in this very, very beautiful place, because I mean the sanctuary is really, really pretty, and like with all the stained glass and everything. Like, so it feels special. Like, I feel safe here. If that makes sense. Like, welcomed, comfortable.
Yeah. Did you have any rules, like sitting in the pews growing up, like you could or couldn't do certain things?
Yeah, we always had to sit back here every single time, and there was no talking, but we always ended up fighting. And then my dad would tell us to be quiet, and then send us like to Sunday school or whatever. He'd be like, "Go! Like, you're not gonna listen, so just leave. You're gonna throw a tantrum or something." So we'd be in the kids in the back trying to keep themselves occupied, making a lot of noise. Like, you know how you hear the baby crying all the time? It's like we were the kids.
That was the McIntosh kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like there were only 1,000 other ones doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So, you and lots of our other young 7th and 8th graders about to go through confirmation. We've been away from the church for a while. We're going to be coming back to our sanctuary. What do you think? How about this? What do you think is going to be amazing and different and spiritual for y'all as you lead us? Like, this is new and different.
I mean, of course it's something that we've never done before, but it's also like I know, like, always just sitting up there, like when I was little, just, I don't know if this goes for everyone, but I always thought it was like so cool for like people to be up there, get like the special jobs and to do stuff or like lead everything. So that will, I think, be us, or will that? Yeah, that will be us, like up there doing stuff, just like doing the cool things that I always thought about as a kid, always wanting to do. And then,
you're growing into leadership.
Yeah. And it also will bring you closer with God. I mean, if you're learning about Him more and learning a bunch of other things. Like, I know personally, I have been trying to get closer with God a lot because we've been away, and then, so, but yeah.
It's a hard and scary time, and I wonder if for our older adults who would honestly be back here every Sunday if we let them, because they've had their vaccines and we can't keep them away, what we could say to them, like the younger generations could say about, here's how it's going to feel and look different. Like, it's not going to be the same. Like, you're sitting in your great-grandmother's spot, but she has, behind you, there's a little thing that says you can sit here, but then you have to wait 6 more feet for someone else to sit. What do you think that's going to be like for everybody?
There's definitely not going to be as many people in here, because I mean, I know in church with every single pew, like, if you come in late, it's going to be hard to find a spot. I mean, it was never hard for us because we just sit back here, I mean, every single time, because my dad would be like, okay, we're sitting in the last pew right here, like, y'all are sitting there. But with not as many people here, it probably won't feel as, like, lively, if that makes sense. Like, it just won't be as, like, full, or, like, it will feel more empty. Because, like, you're just used to seeing everyone in here, every single seat, or almost every single seat full, especially on, like, Easter and Christmas. Like, one year we had to go up there because it was, like, so full, and we were just, like, so just, like, it won't be the same because you have to be 6 feet from people, so, like, all this empty space will just be taken up because you have to be careful. And then,
do you think that will dampen the spirits of our church, or do you think it'll dampen the future of our church?
No, I don't think so. It will just be weird and, like, have to be getting used to. But nothing, like, spiritually is going to change. It will be the same, but it also will not be the same.
Yeah, and we'll just have to live into it, huh?
Yeah.
So, Adelaide, tell me why it was so important that your mom and dad would say, we are going to sit in this back row. What was that about?
Because when my great-grandmother started going here, I don't know why. I guess she just did not like being in the front. She did not like being seen, especially because she had like 5 little kids with her, just like being rowdy like kids are. They just sat in the back every single Sunday, and she could move people out of the seat. Like, if someone came in here and was sitting here, she'd be like, move, that's my seat. And she sat right here every single time. And so that was just passed down to my grandmother, who became a member of the church, and she'd take my mom and my mom's 4 sisters here, and they sit here every single time. I'm always in the back pew. And so my dad just kind of my mom and dad just kind of carried on the tradition, and they were like, okay, we're just gonna go sit in the back pew.
So sitting in the back pew doesn't feel like some kind of weird punishment, does it? How does it feel? Does it feel like home? Does it feel like this is where we sit, this is our pew?
Yeah, I mean, it also just feels special being like, it's kind of just like a family thing. You know how like family things are special to everyone. This is just a family thing, and it's like a tradition. I mean, we'll always sit in a packed view. I mean, sitting up front would feel uncomfortable. Like, not uncomfortable, it would just feel weird. Like, just because, I mean, we've all just been in here, so it's...
This feels like, yeah, you're like, I love it. This feels like home. This is comfort. All right, so one last question for you. What is your favorite, and it doesn't have to be in the pew, what is your favorite memory of Tutu? Like, what do you love and remember and miss most about her?
Well, because my grandma's house, my grandparents bought Tutu's house, or Tutu and Chick's house, and Chick was my great-grandfather, that's what everyone called him, but that's not important. But, so, I always walked, because my Tutu's house, after my grandparents bought her house, there was this little house, like, on the end of their driveway, so it was, like, their driveway and then, the house, and so she just lived there. But I'd always, whenever I went over to my grandmother's when she was still alive, I'd walk down there, and she always had golden Oreos, and so I would get a bunch of Oreos, golden Oreos. They always had to be golden Oreos, like no other Oreos, but I take
And golden Oreos are the yellow ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so those also hold a special place in my heart, like they're my favorite Oreos. And so I would take the icing and I'd like eat the icing out, and then I'd give her the cookies and she'd eat the cookies. So that's probably one of my favorite
special memories. Yeah. Now, and you were saying something with your mom earlier about how you would go places and you would kind of cling to her.
Yeah, I remember especially at her 100th birthday party.
Oh my goodness. 100 years!
Yeah. She almost lived to be 101, but we had this giant birthday party for her in my grandparents' backyard. It was all of our family and like just a ton of people. And there's a bunch of photos of me, and I also remember this, but I was like just very clingy to her. Like I just would not leave her side because I don't know, I just felt special around her. And I always like to be in like the spotlight.
So are there things about her that you want to carry on? Because I know, Adelaide, just watching you from little bitty dumb until now, you are a teenager, and you're going to grow into who you are and God created you to be. But are there little pieces of Tutu that you want to hope you carry on? Are there things besides the Oreos that you want to carry on?
I mean, I knew her well, but I was still young.
Yeah.
So I did not know her the greatest. But I know like she had just like, or from what I've heard, she just had like this very determined spirit and stuff. And she was just like very put together and like just a very good person all around. So I'd love to grow up to be as good of a person and as determined. And then also from a story that I've heard, I'd go over to my grandmother's house like every day because I'm very, very lucky and fortunate to have my grandparents in like the same city as me, and like I can walk to my grandparents' house, I can walk to my grandparents' house like really easily. It's just down the street, so I'm very lucky to have that because I know some people like their grandparents live farther away, so it's like a treat to go to their grandparents, and of course it's a treat to go to my grandparents also. It's just like an everyday thing, so I'm just very fortunate I can be around them a lot. But moral of the story, I went over there every day, and since my grandparents' house was just down the driveway from Tutu's, I'd go over there every time I went over to my grandma's, like until she died. I would just go down there and I'd like walk by myself sometimes. I'd just be like, okay, I'm going to Tutu's, like. So I just was good friends with her, and she was just really loving to me and everyone else. But as stern as she could have been, like as she was still always had like that special little loving part in her.
So if she walked in right now in her saintly spirit, she'd probably bump you out of that seat.
Yeah, she'd be like, move down. She'd be like, yeah,
that's my seat, move over.